been quite some interest in the past 2 years in the world of urban air and advanced air mobility. The focus has been on how do we move people around, or rather above our crowded city streets. Already trials in major cities are planned with vertiports, a sort of airport come landing port on the top of skyscrapers or office blocks. And of course we've also been watching the unmanned vehicle progression as drones are set on last mile delivery missions and no doubt will soon be a regular feature in our skies. Well, these are all very exciting and the innovators are to be applauded as they fight off competitors to gain the spoils. But a bunch of engineers working at ICAO, along with aviation enthusiasts, students, companies and universities around the world on a pro bono project are doing something totally alien to our commercial mindsets. They're crowd thinking the development of an urban air vehicle that will take on the role of the air ambulance and operate in tight urban environments. Yuri Fatah is one of those ICAO engineers and he's leading the project.
But what happened was we were working with Charles formerly in ICAO, where he had given some speeches on the future of aviation. And we realized, we meaning there are about 3 of us on the team, we realized quite quickly that we could reconnect with our love for aviation, if I could say it that way. But until I saw that, I didn't realize that the industry had moved so much that the center of gravity of design, if I could say it like that, has moved, it's much more affordable to participate in this now. So we downloaded software where people can just design their own aircraft. And we had a couple of those that we did in our spare time, working with Charles' outfit, and because they provided advice on, if you want to explain to the world why you're doing something or why a new concept is useful, you have to put it in context of its use, not so much in its engineering, right? Because people are much more excited about the use case than they are about, a newly designed type of wing.
Yuri and his team of eager volunteers decided to look at an aircraft that could get to places where today's helicopters might not, and that could be a cost-effective option for emergency services around the world. But they knew they needed more help.
And I think we realized at that point that if we introduce content into the community, we're not doing it from any business position, right? We're not there to say, this is better than anything else out there. And we're not looking for investors, we're not, right? So we don't have that angle. And so we wanted to learn a little more about what companies and others have to go through to take an idea off a page and start doing something with it to bring it to production. Of course, we can choose our headaches, right? We didn't go through the, how do you get money and all that stuff, or how do you get licenses? But we just wanted to take the next step from lifting an idea off the page into something that people can touch and feel and experience.
And so the coalition across a connected worldwide community began, and the result is Ambular. Groups around the world are now giving time and experience freely to literally get this idea off the ground.
You can see from the designs that we have on the Ambular, the design is not really that different from what other people have out there. So we go with what's already out there and flying, and like you see, this thing is inspired by existing flying cars that people have out there. We also had worked on a virtual reality environment, so people could put a headset on and experience. It's a little crude, but you can still kind of experience what it might be like to fly through a future city in the Ambular. The urban mobility concept would require the user, in this case the healthcare or the doctor or whoever is requesting transport of the patient. They would provide the system with that information, and the system would then figure out the most efficient and manner to meet that performance requirement, which is to save a life or to transport the patient. It's not only for life saving. And then it will respond to the other inputs for the other variables and can use the Ambular as part of that transport solution. So right now in our project document, we have two design profiles. It doesn't get up very high. It's only about 150 meters, I believe. And it's got a range of about 15 kilometers. And that is all based on what is really realistic with existing battery technology.
The team says it's unlikely that any commercial developers of urban air equipment will be focusing on such a potentially small market, albeit an important one for society, certainly at this stage, which is why the Ambular team are focused on bringing the project forward with no financial gain expected. But when will it be ready?
Our current design cycle is that we're going to iterate through testing and redesigning about 4 or 5 times. Each cycle will take about 6 to 9 months before we finalize Ambular 3.0. That's probably earliest going to be in about 3 years' time. Our focus is going to shift to building a quarter-scale flying prototype, a fully functional one. And we will probably, I would say that's about 5 to 6 years from now. Right now, the idea is to close the project at that stage because we think that then we've hopefully provided enough information, knowledge back to the community. We don't foresee taking it to a full-scale prototype because in a full-scale prototype scenario, I think the value of doing this as a community-driven idea is not going to be able to, it won't make any sense. There'll be too many people who are solving problems that they're not going to be comfortable sharing the solutions with others.
Well, details of how you can play your part in helping to bring an emergency urban air vehicle such as Ambular to the skies can be found on the Ambular website. That's www.ambular.org. And of course, for all the latest updates on the world of urban air mobility, subscribe for free at our website, wearefin.com. Goodbye.